Hi, everyone, and welcome to Foundations of Reading. This week's topic is doubling consonants and V variations. As a reminder, you can click to the workbook by clicking in your slides. So we're going to talk about dropping the E at the end of a word if we add a suffix that starts with a vowel, but we don't drop the E if the suffix starts with a consonant. That's the rule we'll talk about this week. There's an opportunity for you to look at these words that have suffixes and say, well, what was the root word before the suffix was added? Add that in, write it in the box. We'll check over it in our slides. There's documents of the day to read. We'll talk about also the doubling the P rule. What's the rule? Like, why do you have to add an extra consonant sometimes? Well, it has to do with CVC syllables and whether or not they end in one consonant or not. It has to do with keeping our short vowel sound. And so we'll talk about that in class, about how if a word is a CVC and we add the suffix that with the vowel, we are going to need to double that final consonant. And we'll talk about if there's any exceptions to that rule. So there's a document of the day to read over. And then there's some opportunities here for you to write the word by adding the suffix yourself. You can look at the rule. The rule is all three boxes must be checked to double the consonants. All right. We'll do some reading, some more reading. In lesson 10, we'll look at some variations on the final E pattern. So we might have words that all follow the pattern. Nap, set, lob, dud, and pet become nape, sight, lobe, dude, and Pete, right? So we change the vowel sound based on the E at the end of the word. But if you read this document of the day to yourself, and we'll talk about it in class, you'll notice that there's words that end in E but don't have a long vowel. So it's like, why is that? Those words aren't following the rules. Is it even a rule? It is a rule, but there's some exceptions. And so we'll talk about that in class, look it over first. And we'll see that the pattern that these words have is that they have V's. Words with V's are tricky. So you have to look at them in a different way to think about how to pronounce them. Or really, you can just be flexible and try both. Try a short vowel, try a long vowel. See which one works, which one makes sense to you, right? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk a lot more about just breaking words into their syllables, identifying vowels and consonant blends. Where does the line go? What sticks together and what gets separated? And all of this really helps you with your spelling, because if you can break words apart into their pieces, when you say them, you can hear the pieces and then you can spell the pieces and then you put it all together and now you can spell a super long word, right? So that's the goal. We'll have some more reading and then we'll review everything. Really trying not to make this a boring video, y'all. I'm trying to make them more fun. They have some exercises in here in the review where you're to type in your answers in the box. We'll talk about the special sounds and the special syllable rules that come with the ED ending, because the ED can sound like ed, the, or t. So we'll talk about all of that. And then we'll practice separating some more words into their pieces, really, analyzing them closely. We'll work again on this ED ending. How does it sound? Do I say slipped or do I say slipped? Which way is the right way, right? And then we'll have more reading, as we always do. We'll talk about some exceptions to the rule, and at the end of it, we will have a big old progress check spelling test. So it's a lot of words here. They're all together. I know you can't memorize them all, but if you think about the spelling patterns, they're all really easy, and you already know how to spell them. So I'll see you in class Tuesday and Thursday. Apologies, and thank you for your graciousness on me missing this Thursday, and see you soon. Bye-bye, y'all.